Hello Ash, welcome to the stream. I'm just going to go grab my laptop and then the lobby should be starting. Hello everybody and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 2. We're here for round 2 of Season 12 here in Suzuka. Fantastic track with some great history. We've had some great races around here in Tier 2 in the past. One that sticks out is Lawrence leading the race and then getting a puncture on the final lap and ending up coming last. So high drama this track is capable of, and I'm sure we'll get plenty more of that today. We've got 14 drivers on the grid today, which is good to see. Krauser is in the Red Bull. The game's put him in the Red Bull. You've got to pick car before you press ready, Krauser, in the future. But I assure you, he is teammates with Mania in the Alpine, so keep that in mind. He's a Red Bull, but he's actually Alpine, which is a shame, irritating, especially irritating for Maxim if they come in on the same lap. But you know, these things happen. There's no penalty for it in APPF1. It's just strongly encouraged to select car before you press ready, even if you join late. But it's fine, no problem. Let's head over so I can see the comments on my stream. That would be helpful. There we go, right. Okay, here we go. Tier getting started with the first lap of Japan in F124 and APPF1, very fast through turns 1 and 2. And then this game, these S's are very, very different. You've got to commit so much in such high gears with high throttle application as well. It's really hard to get right without spinning. Tier pretty committed there. Degner 1, you've got to... I mean, Degner 1 before the patch on Monday was flat out. It was just completely flat. But Tier not taking it flat, whether that's because of the patch or whether that's because Tier is not confident enough to take it flat, I'm not certain. But he's already down to 13% ERS, so it's hard to utilize ERS properly around here for a qualifying lap. Through Spoon goes the British driver. And on exit, could have used a little more there. a little more commitment, but not too bad overall. But he's not going to be able to use any of his ERS down this straight. He's deploying the overtake, but he's going to lose it all towards the final chicane. ZTX Primeval at 30.6 on the mediums. All three newbies doing their first laps on the mediums. Interesting. Tier, though, comes to the line, 5% ERS left, and it's a 29.3 is the first competitive lap time of the session. Who's going to be next? It's going to be ARS Maxim in the Red Bull coming through. We've also got the McLaren of Lawrence coming into the final couple of corners. Here we go in the McLaren all the way down towards the line. For the defending champion, it's P3, a long way off. P Bent goes P2 for now, one of the newbies, but that's on the medium tyres. So that's mightily impressive. Maxim goes top with a 29.1, also on the medium tyres. I've said privately and publicly that a decision will be made on the super fast newbies in Tier 2 after this race. About either moving them to Tier 1 if they can do Fridays, or getting into remove an assist or two. And yeah, I think it's very, very likely that that's going to happen. So do keep that in mind as we go through this session. Alex G in Sector 1. He had a very respectable P5 last week as he comes through Degner 1 and Degner 2. I'm glad P-Bent is here, because he was one of the drivers I was very interested in seeing the true pace of after the time trial times were submitted in sign-ups. But Alex G coming through Sector 2 looks pretty put together so far. Look at the beautiful shine on that Mercedes Silver under the sun as he comes on the exit of the hairpin. Into Spoon goes the Ukrainian driver. Seemed nicely done. I think a little better than Tier did it. X-Torek goes P5. He was a Tier 1 driver up until a few days ago, when he's decided to switch down to Tier 2, given that he's more the pace of Tier 2 than Tier 1. So it's a respectable decision from the, I believe, Norwegian driver, as Alex G comes round the final chicane and to the line. It's looking not too bad from Alex, and it's P3, just a 10th behind Tier for now. Rob Su coming through the hairpin as well in the Aston Martin. First time we've seen him this season. And it's good to see him back on track as he comes up towards Spoon. I need to get my times up on the screen. Mania is into the pits. Who's this? This is Rob Su. So Rob Su, 32.7 in Sector 1, quite a way off of the top times in Sector 1. 12.9, but he's purple in Sector 2, so that's not too bad at all from the Finnish driver. We're about to see where his lap lies after, at the end of it all. Down towards the line he goes, DRS open, and it's a 29.8. It's quite a way off, but a purple middle sector is not too bad at all. Primeval has invalidated. Krauser also invalidated, so it's up to the Hasses next up. Aces and Drogon, formerly Lucasro. The two teammates for the season. Aces puts a wheel on the grass, and that's not going to help his cause. That's going to lose him a lot of time as Drogon follows him through all the way down towards 130R, a flat-out left-hander. Aces is going to lose quite a lot of time to that, so it won't be a completely representative lap time for the Briton, who finished P2 in the standings last season in Tier 2. Drogon, though, through the final chicane, almost invalidates there on entry to that last corner, and it's looking very good, extremely good from Drogon. It's a 28.8, and he goes to pole position. Aces versus Kings goes P6 after that mistake at Spoon, but Drogon looking like the driver to beat at the moment. I know Maxim and P-Bent, still a lot left to come from them two, as they both did their first laps on the mediums, but Drogon well up there. What a great lap that is from the Italian driver. He's improved so much between games, I have to say. This game really suiting his driving style. Purple middle sector by 0.4 of a second from Rob Su's previous purple sector in the last lap. So Drogon really hooking up that middle sector very nicely. He was also purple in Sector 3, but not by as much. So interested to see what the likes of Maxim and P. Bent are going to do as the Ferrari driver comes through the final corner and gets ready to start his next lap. His first lap on the softs in this session. Lawrence also just starting a lap now is the defending champion, and Mania and Sumo starting laps as well. It's the Sauber of Tyr getting out of the way there on the left hand side as Mania piles through Sector 1 and into the middle sector now. Brakes for Degner 1. I think, I don't know if the patch, if that's a patch thing, because there was a patch that came out yesterday that was slight tweaks to the handling. Nothing too dramatic, but it did make the cars a lot slower. Anywhere between 2 and 6/10 slower is what I'm hearing, compared to pre-patch. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure how much it's going to be and how much it affects what you do on the lap, because I know Degner 1 was flat when I was doing it in time trial a few weeks ago. But Mania coming to the final couple of corners now in the Alpine. Nicely hooked up there in the last chicane, and what's it going to be across the line? It's going to be a 30.1. He goes P9 for now. Sumo right behind him goes to P2. The Mercedes driver all the way up there, a 29.0. Maxim's purple in Sector 1 though, and P Bent goes to pole, a 28.4 from the Ferrari driver. Maxim, I think, is about to beat that. He's coming through the glass chicane. Lawrence goes to P5. Good effort from him, but Maxim all the way to the line, and he's beaten it by a wide margin, a 28.0. And yeah, I think those nerfs are coming after this race. I can pretty much confirm that. Purple Sector 1 and 3 from Maxim. But yeah, definitely some nerfs coming, I think, after this Grand Prix. But Alex G getting started for a lap as well in the other Mercedes. RJ, the American driver, just coming to the pit lane by the looks of it, or maybe just a second out lap for him. Mania coming into the pits. Krauser just starting a lap, I think, in the Red Bull. Let's see what he does through Sector 1, which is here. 2.5 tenths up for the Red Bull driver, which is exactly what he needs. Who else is on a lap right now? Sumo's ended his lap. It's Alex G, I think, is going to be the next to set a lap. Maybe Krauser, actually. So I'll keep running on board with Krauser as he's coming through the hairpin exit right now. There's Aces on an outlap just ahead. I wonder if he'll get a slight toe off him as a result of that. Through Spoon he goes. Very good on exit, not too bad at all from Krauser. Here's Aces, he is giving him a little bit of a toe, perhaps unwittingly. Krauser moves out the way and gets on with it, and Aces slows down to let him pass as I think the McLaren of Lawrence has just gone past as well, and the British driver who had not his greatest season last season out will be hoping to do better on the new game. It's a 30.4, which is more respectable, closer to the rest of the pack from the other Alpine driver, I must stress. Aces starting his next lap as well. It looks like Alex headed straight to the pits. He wasn't improving on that particular lap he was doing. Aces through Sector 1 now. These S's very tough on this year's game. Flat through the first one, and then a slight deceleration for the second, slightly more for the third, slightly more again for the fourth, and then flat through I think it's Dunlop is that corner name. And then Degner 1, is he going to be flat? No, but he doesn't brake, unlike a few other drivers I've seen. But in theory, I believe, at least pre-patched, Degner 1 is flat, if you're brave enough. But Aces through the hairpin now. A little bit of a lock-up on entry, but not too bad as he comes down towards Spoon. He's got his teammate just up the road. I think Drogon's going to give him a tow. This is good teamwork from the Haas drivers, if so. Through Spoon he goes. Nicely done again by Aces versus Kings on the exit. Here's Drogon just in front. Is he going to give him a tow? It's a slight tow. He's too far ahead, I think, to give him that much of a tow. So maybe just an unplanned thing there from the Haas boys. But Ace is down to the final chicane now. He's had pedal issues just before the Grand Prix. Luckily managed to fix them just in time, but down towards the line he comes. It's a decent lap. It's P3. It's more than decent. He beats his teammate, who's just starting a lap just ahead, so we'll see if Drogon can beat him, but the Haas drivers are looking very promising at the moment. Tyr starting a lap as well in the Sauber. X-Torek as well in the Williams, starting a lap. The Tier 2 newbie, he raced in Tier 1 last week, but he's moved down to Tier 2 this week, and that's Robsu up to P6. Very good from the Finnish driver as he gets back into his stride that we know he's capable of. X-Torek into the gravel, so no improvement for the Williams driver. That was a Haas going just past. I think that was Ace's, so he's not on a lap. So no harm done there as Drogon comes through the hairpin. A little bit of a lock-up. There's a mistake there, and we know how good his Sector 2 was before, and yeah, he's backed off. That was too much of a mistake from the Italian driver, clearly. Tyr now coming through the middle sector in the Sauber. What was his first sector time? Let's see. He was 3.5 tenths down in the first sector. So I don't know if this is going to be any sort of improvement from Tyr into the middle part of the lap. What's it going to be? Yeah, he's 4.5 tenths down now, so no improvement from Tyr. Robsu also no improvement. Is anyone improving out on track? Lucas Rowe isn't. Or Drogon, I should say. Alex G, perhaps. No, he's gone into the pits. RJ, he's improving by 3 tenths in the first sector. What about the middle sector? 6.5 tenths from the American driver. Looking to get himself into the top 5 perhaps here as he comes into the final chicane. He's not even used the overtake button, so this is a very strong lap from RJ. He doesn't know that he can use the overtake button. And to the line he goes, DRS open, but a mistake into the final chicane costs him 4 tenths of a second. And he's going to have to try again. He's up into the top 10, but he'll be disappointed with that one. Primeval not improving right now. He's invalidated. The top 2 are on outlaps at the moment. But it doesn't look like anyone's improving from what I can see on my data screen in front of me. You can't see it, but I do have a screen in front of me that's telling me all the live timings and data to help me out. Maxim starts his final lap. He's got enough time to go for a second one, if he so chooses, but he's coming through Sector 1 now, and P-Bent just behind him doing the same in the Ferrari. Lucas Rowe in the chat saying he didn't select new softs for the second run. Ah, right, yeah, that'll hurt for sure. As Tyr retires from the session, is in the pit lane. He's in the pit lane, so no further participation in this qualifying session from Tyr. Is there improvement from P-Bent? There isn't, and no improvement from Maxim either. He's invalidated, so they're going to both have to go again if they want one more lap here. Sumo's starting his final lap of the session. He's in Sector 1 right now. I'm looking at my timing screens to see if anyone is improving, but not at the moment, so we'll focus on Sumo for now. ZTX Primeval 5.5 tenths down in Sector 1, so he's going to have to try again as well. As here comes the British driver, my podcast and former commentary partner here in the Tier 2 commentary box. He's just under half a tenth up in Sector 1. Not bad through Degler 1 and 2 there. Seemed very committed from Sumo. Into the hairpin he goes. He's looking for a podium today, I'm sure, as he exits that hairpin. X-Torek retires as well in the pit lane, so no improvement for him either. Here comes Sumo. And down towards Spoon now, pressing that overtake button. 20% left in the battery. He's not going to have enough, a lot left for the last couple of straights here. We've got a few other drivers starting laps as well. I know Krauser is improving by 2.5 tenths in Sector 1. So Sumo coming over the second sector, and he's 2 tenths up. He's looking to take P4 here. He wants a spot in the second row, but he's run out of ERS, and how much is that going to hurt him? Through the final chicane goes Sumo. And down towards the line, what's it going to be? 27, 28, 28.8. It's not quite enough to beat Drogon. I think he lost too much ERS there. And it's P5 for Sumo as it stands. Robsu stays P6. Lawrence is improving by 3/10 in the first sector. And further improvement for Krauser. He's 7/10 up right now on his previous best. So we'll cut to the Alpine driver in a Red Bull. He should be in an Alpine, but he is in a Red Bull for now. Down to the line, it's a 29.5, a huge improvement for Krauser. That's exactly what he needed to do. Mania's not improving, so he'll stay P13. As Lawrence goes purple in middle sector, what's it going to be for him? It's P3 for the defending champion. And only 4/10 off the top two, who have both not been able to improve. And it's down to Mania, and Primeval is going to be the last one to come across the line, but it's not going to be a competitive lap from him. And that is qualifying over. Just waiting for Mania to get back in the pits. There we go. And there we have it. So it's front row for Italy with Maxim taking pole position and P-Bent just alongside him. Sumo's gotten a 5-place grid penalty. I don't know how he's managed that, so he'll start 5 places further down. But it's Lawrence in P3 and Ace is alongside him on the front on the second row. Drogon in P5, Sumo P6 but will be P11 after that penalty. Robsu, Tyr, Alex and Krauser the rest of the top 10 with RJ, Exterek, Mania and Primeval. Primeval's lap only on the medium, so he wasn't able to do a soft lap in the end, making up the rest of the grid. Exterek thinks there's going to be a DNF today. I would not be surprised, Exterek. I would not be surprised. Hopefully it's not you. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Sumo there. Ash is disappointed to learn of that in the chat, as am I, because Sumo had a decent qualifying session out there, but he's going to have to make progress up the grid instead. So here we go for the formation lap here in Tier 2 for the Japanese Grand Prix. It's Maxim who gets us a way off the line. There we go, let's get everything enabled. So it's mediums for 4 of the top 5, Lawrence opting for the hard tyres, and then also mediums for RJ in P10, Extrek in P12 and Primeval at the back. And then hard tyres for everyone else. That's Robsu, Tyr, Alex G, Krauser, Sumo and Mania starting off on those hard tyres. We'll see what the difference between tyres in terms of pace is pretty soon, I would imagine. in the race in the first few laps. We'll start to see. I would have thought. Because there was a big difference between them last week in Qatar. The mediums were significantly better than the hards. So it's up to the drivers to see if they can extract the pace out of those tyres at the most important time. Lawrence looks like he's had a spin. I think Aces was in the gravel there. So Lawrence has just retaken that third place. But a lot of weaving going on. You can't use the brakes anymore. One thing you could do on F123 was you could just keep your foot on the brakes and keep it on the accelerator at the same time during the formation lap, and it would warm the tyres up. Very easy to do. Can't do that anymore. They changed the tyre model so that is no longer possible. So you do have to do weaving and wear out your tyres in order to warm them up. So you've got to sort of make that sacrifice if you want warm tyres for the start of the race, because they do wear on the formation lap now as well. But here we go, we're about to get going for round 2 of the APPF1 Tier 2 Season number 12 Championship. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Japanese Grand Prix. It's a great start for Maxim from pole position as P-Ben has to follow alongside. Lawrence, can he get a move done around the outside of the Ferrari for P2? Yes, he can. What a move from the defending champion on the hard tyres. P-Ben's going to fight him, but has to back out in the end. And it's Maxim who leads from Lawrence with P-Ben in P3, Aces in P4. With Drogon there in 5th, but most drivers it's as you were, but position game for Lawrence, but not anymore. He's had a huge mistake on Dunlop and lost 2 positions. Aces getting through, into Degner 1 they go, and just braking and staying a bit cautious through that corner on the opening lap, as you should, but it's down 4 positions for Krauser. Disastrous start for him, but up 2 for Exterek, up 1 for Mania, and now up 2 for RJ as he makes a move on Alex into the hairpin. Great overtake from the American. He's up to P8 now in that Aston Martin, but we focus back to the front because Ace is right behind P-Ben. Maxim is gone, but RJ getting past up to P8. And Exterek looking racy as well down there in P10, looking to get past the Mercedes of Alex. Sumo's dropped back quite a lot, which is surprising, but he is on those hard tyres, remember, so he is going to find it tricky. ZTX Primeval going for the move on Krauser before 130R. Krauser lets him through, not willing to go side by side through the famous corner, and oh, Primeval going way too deep into the chicane and nearly hitting Mania. And just about manages to avoid him, but he's sandwiched between the 2 Alpines right now. Here comes the Williams though again. He's using the overtake button, trying to get his way up to P12. Here he goes. He's got good race pace so far on those mediums. Down the inside, somehow keeps it going in the right direction after getting on the curb there. And that's Primeval up to P12. It's a good start for him as well, but an atrocious start for Krauser. Exterek up 3 positions as well. He's gotten past Alex, and he's now going to be chasing after RJ. So let's get tyres back on the screen to provide better context. As Primeval just loses those positions that he just gained again. I think he must have gone wide at Dunlop or something, and he's back down to 14th place now. But he knows he's got the race pace now, so he's at least got that confidence in him that he can go for those moves once again. Maxim leads by 1.8 seconds. P-Ben in P2 with Aces just behind and Lawrence just behind him. But the gaps are increasing very quickly at the moment. Robsu already out of that 1 second range. So we will have DRS at the start of the next lap, or well, at the end of this lap, I should say, all the way down to turn 1. So it is enabled on lap 2 this year instead of lap 3, as it always has been before. RJ just behind the Sauber driver, who's in a Aston Martin sandwich at the moment, Tier in P7. But here we go, DRS enabled. Robsu does not have it. This could be an opportunity for Tyr to make a move into turn 1. He's got the overspeed, but it's not enough. He's going to have to stick behind and live to fight another day. Very close, though, between the two of them, and Tyr's going to be wanting to make that move done, because you can see he's losing so much time behind the Finn. RJ is caught right up to the back of him on those medium tyres. He's going to want to get past. Robsu's going to try and help him out here, and RJ going for an inside line at Dunlop, very dangerous. For his own car, I should say. But into Degner 1 and Degner 2. Still single file between these three at the moment. Extract 1.3 behind, but catching as RJ sends for the move around the outside of the Sauber driver at the hairpin, but he's gone way too deep and he's lost the grip on the inside of the corner, and he's going to have to stay behind for now, and that has brought Extract right into the battle. He's now 9/10 behind. He should have DRS as long as he can keep this up. Down towards turn 1 the next time around. Lawrence just about keeping up with Aces at the moment, but it's very close. He could fall out of DRS at any moment if he's not careful. But here we go, down towards the chicane, and this is going to be very close. RJ going down the inside for 130R of Tyr, and he's made it work. Tyr leaves in the room. Great racing between the two, great respect, as RJ now sends it down the inside of his teammate for the chicane. He can't quite get it done, but RJ in the mood for some racing here. You can see he's going to have DRS now. Ace is making the move for P2, but we've got to concentrate on these three because they're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. Extarek backs out very sensibly. Tyr, or RJ, makes that move again on Tyr, and he's now up to P7. And Tyr loses that position. He's probably going to lose position to Extarek before long as well, because those mediums seem to be a lot more racy than the hards, although Lawrence seems to be doing okay. He has lost position to Drogon, but he's still in that DRS train, crucially, and now Extarek all over the back of this Sauber driver. Surely not going to send one into Degner 1. Doesn't indeed sensibly avoided from him. Sumo's gotten past his teammate in the meantime, and he's looking to catch up to these 4 as they go wheel to wheel once again. Extarek down the inside. The 2 Aston Martins going wheel to wheel now as well. RJ on those mediums sweeping around the outside of his Finnish teammate, and he's up to P6 now. And the Aston Martins are going to look to work together to try and catch up to the top 5, but it's a big gap, 4 seconds to Lawrence as it stands, and a mistake from Robsu is not going to help. Tyr now going down the inside as they approach 130R. It looks like there's damage to Robsu's car. That would explain it. It's got no front left end plate on that front wing, and yeah, he's going to be really struggling now to find that pace. He's going to send it down the inside anyway of Tyr as Tyr goes deep, but just about gets it stopped in time. And Robsu still in this battle somehow with no front left end plate, but here we go. Extra are going to make it 3 wide. The P-Ben and Aces swap places again, but we've got to keep an eye on these 3 as Robsu still manages to keep that position. Extra getting past Tyr instead. And now looking to go around the outside for turn 2, or turn 3 I should say, but has to back out in the end. Robsu putting up a fantastic defense here to try and give RJ some breathing room, and he's doing a brilliant job with it. Extrac and Tyr unable to get their way through, especially Extrac on those mediums. You'd think he would have swept by now, but Robsu keeping his foot in and still just about keeping up as a big mistake from RJ just in front. Huge error. How on earth he's not in the wall, I do not know. But Robsu had to slow down to avoid him, and he's hit the curb and he's gone round. Robsu, after that brilliant defense, is round at the hairpin. He's gotten back going, but he's in 14th place. He's got no front left end plate, and it's looking pretty bleak for his first race back on F1 24, which is a huge shame. But still a long way to go in this Grand Prix, as Extarek now chases after the other Aston Martin of RJ. And this Williams is looking quick at the moment. I think he's certainly the quickest driver of this secondary group. He looks to the inside of the chicane, but sensibly chooses not to send it. And here we go, he needs a good exit here. Does he get one? It's probably not as good as he would have hoped for. Aces and P-Ben swapping places again. Aces up to P2. Drogon fighting his way up there as well in P4, and Lawrence just sticking to the back of them as these two go side by side. Extract down the inside of the American driver, and they're going to go side by side again for turn 3, but the Norwegian backs out, and he's going to be back down to P7, and these Aston Martins proving very difficult nuts to crack at the moment. No one able to get past them. Tyr tried, couldn't. Exterek has tried, and he can't now either. Even after Robsu spinning out, RJ is keeping the Aston Martin defence going. And Sumo's caught up to the back of this train now as well. And if they're not careful, Alex is going to be let into it as well. And perhaps even the Krauser, Mania, Primeval and Robsu could get let back into this as well. But it's Sumo at the moment we're focusing on. Alex is now in this battle, and it's 2.2 seconds only to Krauser, so he could be joining this train as well very soon as P-Ben fights with aces for P2. Maxim is a long way up the road, 4 seconds clear now at the front of the field, but P-Ben, aces, Drogon and Lawrence all still in this train. Hello to LB in the chat as P-Ben, DRS open, Mania and Krauser swapping places, the two teammates, but here comes P-Ben with the DRS. He's going to go down the inside. No, he's not. He's going to stay behind, and Drogon had to react to that and brake a little bit early to avoid going into the back of the Ferrari. But ZTX Primeval in the meantime getting past Krauser. Not entirely sure how that happened, but anyways, yeah, and apparently there is small front wing damage according to my telemetry as Krauser hits the grass on the exit of turn 1, loses a lot of time, and he's going to bring Robsu back into this. But there is quite obviously front left end plate gone for Robsu, so severe front wing damage to him. Drogon is round, and he's got no front wing now. The Haas driver round at Degner 2, and well, he's improved a lot in terms of pace between games, but he still needs to work on that race not etiquette, but consistency. And the Italian driver is going to have to come in for a new front wing and for what I would presume to be a set of hard tyres. And he's going to lose out big time here, and he's going to have to hope for a safety car. This could cause chaos. RJ doesn't know he's got no front wing. Perhaps he's instinctually felt it given how slow Drogon has been, but he's going to have to be careful here, RJ. This could end up being a bit of a disaster. He looks to the inside. Drogon goes very deep, and yeah, no, he's safely through. Drogon losing all of those positions, safely letting everyone through. It's very sporting from the Haas driver, letting Alex through as well. And he's going to head into the pits for a new front wing as the P2 swaps once again. P-Bent up into that second place with aces down to third, and now Lawrence up to fourth as Exterex sweeps around the outside of RJ at turn 1. Great move, finally getting the best of the Aston Martin, but has he? They're still side by side. There's a bit of contact through turn 3, but RJ keeps the place. I don't think there was anything in that. RJ left him plenty of room, and Exterex still not able to get clear of this pesky Aston Martin. He must be getting sick of the sight of that rear wing by now. But through Degner 1, and he's going to have to stare at it for a little while longer. Tyr and Sumo right in this battle as well. Alex G there too. Primeval, Mania and Krauser have dropped back quite significantly. Primeval wide at Degner 2 there, and here comes Krauser on his teammate down the inside. It's going to be the outside for the hairpin though, maybe a little bit of contact between the two. Robsu looking to fight his way through as well, despite that front wing damage. My telemetry is telling me that there's slight front wing damage to Exterek as well, so keep that in mind. That might be why he's struggling so much through turn 2 compared to the drivers he's trying to overtake. But we've got to ride on board with him now because he's going down the inside for 130R of the Aston Martin. RJ sweeps around the outside. Tyr making it 3 wide into the final chicane, and Tyr gets both of them. What a move from Tyr. 727 is up to P5, and Exterek now has a different rear wing to stare at as RJ loses 2 positions, and Tyr's got the DRS. Exterek doesn't, and that is crucial for the Sauber driver as he's going to stay ahead. The Mercedes of Alex trying to get his way past RJ. RJ loses 3 positions in 2 corners. in 3 or 4 corners, and he's not going to be happy about that. Alex right in this battle as well on those hard tyres. I think the hard tyres starting maybe to come to those drivers who started on them by now, as RJ seems to be beginning to struggle for grip as he loses the rear at Dunlop. Exterek as well, he's got that damage to contend with as well, according to my telemetry, as Alex G sticks to the back of this train. RJ is going to struggle at this point. He's 8/10ths down. He needs to stay within a second to not lose out to this train, although with the battles going on, I think he would get straight back into it pretty quickly, I would have thought. But we've got 3 distinct groups of drivers right now, 4 if you count Maxim as his own group. We've got Aces, P-Ben and Lawrence for P2, then we've got Tier, Extrax, Sumo, RJ, Alex for P5, and then Primeval, Krauser, Robsu and Mania for P10, as Mania gets himself a track limits penalty and goes off at Spoon, loses a lot of time. Here comes Extract down the inside of Tier. There's contact between the two, and it was always going to happen with a dive down the inside of that corner. Extract's going to have the DRS though, but Sumo's not going to be willing to let this go easily. Tier's not going to be happy about that one. Extract up to P5, but for how long? Here comes Sumo. Gilligan, he's going to sweep round the outside of turn 1 and then turn 2. Sumo's still there. He's got the inside for turn 3. Can he send it? Oh, he backs out just about. Extract keeps the place, but Sumo is on the warpath here in this Mercedes. He lost at 5 places with a 5-place grid penalty in qualifying, dropping him to P11, but here he is back to where he feels like he should have started. In P6, and he's gunning for that 5th place at the moment with Extract just ahead, but RJ gets a much better exit through Degner too. Sumo a little too conservative on the exit there to try and not hit Extract, and RJ saw the opportunity. A fantastic move from the American. He's back up to P6 now, and Extract is looking very, 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 very vulnerable with that slight front wing damage. And also these aging medium tyres. But Sumo, Tier and Alex all on the warpath just behind them. It's 4.5 seconds to the rear gunner group of Primeval, Kraus and Robsu at the moment. Big moment for Robsu there on the exit of Spoon as RJ looks down the inside of Extract for 130R but keeps it clean. And now Sumo is looking to do what RJ did to him. A surprise move down the inside. RJ's pushed onto the grass. He's not going to be too happy. But Tier now trying to get his way through as well. RJ is going to be thinking it's deja vu, and as a result of that move, none of them are close enough to overtake Extarek. So here comes RJ and Tier again, side by side. We've seen this before this race through turn 1, but RJ stays ahead once again, and Tier down in P8 still, with Alex just watching and waiting for this all to go wrong. He'll be thinking, how have these guys not crashed yet? It's great racing, that's how, Alex. As Sumo chases after Extarek, the P-Ben, Aces and Lawrence still locked together, as Lawrence now into the 4/10ths range of Aces. So I think those hard tyres definitely starting to come into play. Krauser now getting a time penalty, and he loses a position to Robsu, and he's round at Degner too. It's a VSC, and Krauser, is that no front wing? It is no front wing for the Red Bull driver, and that is such a shame. And he's going to have to head back to the pits, or the Alpine driver I should say. Back to the pits for him. But Drogon is going to be so upset that it's only a virtual safety car. He would have been hoping for a full safety car. Maxim takes the opportunity. He's into the pits, and I think plenty more will be as well. P-Ben, Aces into the pits as well. Lawrence staying out on those hard tyres, so he will now lead the Grand Prix as Extarek comes to the final chicane. Surely he's going to come in as well. Will he replace his front wing? That's the question, really. Yeah, into the pits comes the Williams. Sumo staying out. RJ into the pits as well. Tier into the pits on the hards. The only one not to stay out on the hards so far. DRS re-enabled as we get under green flags once again, so they haven't gained too much time by coming in. No front wing change for Extarek. Either he doesn't realise he's got damage, or my Telemetry is wrong. We'll have to wait and see. But he's coming out the pits now, and here's my telemetry still saying he's got damage. I'm not sure. I'll have to recheck on that in a second because he's under pressure from RJ. The battle continues straight out of the pit lane on these fresh hard tyres. It is still saying Extrek has slight front wing damage, so I just think he doesn't know. I don't think he knows he's got damage. So that's a shame for him because he's going to be losing a bit of performance from that without even realizing it. RJ right behind him through Degner 2, not able to make a move as well. No one's really able to make a move through Degner 2. If you try and make a move through Degner 2, you're crazy. You haven't got your head screwed on correctly. As RJ, a bit of a mistake on the exit of the hairpin, and that could let Tier have an opportunity, but not quite. And Tier, on those medium tyres, he's going to have to take to the end. They're going to struggle towards the end, but he's going to be very quick as it stands. So he's going to have to make progress pretty quickly. He needs to clear both of these drivers, I think, within the next couple laps, and then try and break clear with those mediums, because otherwise he's going to be losing time unnecessarily. It is Lawrence now who leads from Maxim, who has pitted. Sumo stayed out as well as his teammate Alex, so they're in third and fourth as Primeval and Robsu now go wheel to wheel. Primeval on the inside of turn 2. Robsu sweeps around the outside, but great racing. Primeval just unable to make the move. And RJ now getting past Exterek for P10. After all these drivers have pitted, they're in a net, P5 or so, something like that. As Tier tries to fight his way through as well, but all he can do is sit there and watch. Oh, big mistake from RJ. He's into the grass, and he's going to lose 3 or 4 seconds thanks to that. That's a big error from the American driver, and, well, he's going to lose DRS as well, and that could be very, very costly indeed, which is a shame for the Aston Martin. He was running very well up until then. And now Tier is going to smell an opportunity to get this move done at the start of the next lap into turn 1, I would have thought, maybe into the last chicane, who knows. But P-Bent now is caught up to these two Mercedes, and this could be a problem for him. He could get stuck here, because they've both got, well, Alex has got DRS from his teammate, but he's had a terrible exit of the chicane there, locks up into entry, and that's going to cost him a lot of time. Here comes the Ferrari driver looking to the inside, but Alex has got the overspeed, and yeah, nothing that P-Bent can do. He's got no ERS left to fight with. Alex is running low as well, but he's got just enough to keep him behind, and this could be trouble for the Ferrari driver, as Aces is going to look to catch back up, and a time penalty for Lawrence at the front there. Tier making his way past Exterek as predicted. Up to P10 he goes. But yeah, that could be very costly for Lawrence. 3-second penalty for him for track limits. And again, P-Bent losing so much time behind this Mercedes. And all this is doing is letting Aces back into this fight. 1.6 seconds. He's lost 6/10 already, the Ferrari. Into the hairpin. Aces 1.5 seconds behind. 1.3. Look at this. It's so close now to Aces getting DRS. P-Bent will surely get Alex at the next. Still going to have it from Sumo. Through Spoon they go. Can P-Bent get him down towards 130R? That's going to be his plan. He gets a better exit. Here he goes. Alex goes defensive. He knows it's coming, but P-Bent gets his way through, and Alex decides he doesn't want to go side by side through 130R and just sits behind him and waits for the DRS down towards turn 1. And Aces is nearly in DRS range. They've gone past the detection point, so he's not going to get it this lap. But the next lap he's going to be well in the hunt. Alex with a poor exit again out the chicane, and surely I don't think he's going to be able to make this move. But look at the overspeed, look at this speed, top speed from Alex G. He's down the inside. He was so far behind at the start of the straight, but he makes the move anyway. Didn't need the DRS advantage. Brilliant stuff from the Ukrainian. Aces is back in this battle for the net P2. The two Mercedes, or just Alex really, causing a ton of problems for P-Bent here. and Aces is brought back into it. Alex defending like a lion here. Sumo just ahead, but here comes P-Bent down the inside of Tegna 1. Oh, what a move from P-Bent, the Italian newbie, and he's up back into P4. It's a net P2. Aces is going to get through straight away on Alex, which will frustrate the Ferrari driver, but Aces now back in this battle thanks to Alex's staunch defense, but it's finally come to an end. Tegna 1, what a move that was. That could have easily ended very, very badly, but great driving by both to keep that going. And now Sumo is going to be in trouble here down towards turn 1. It's going to be DRS for P-Bent. Sumo's got a lot of ERS. Oh, never mind. He doesn't have a lot of ERS in the tank anymore. He's trying to break DRS. It looks like he might succeed here. The activation point is right here. And yeah, no DRS for P-Bent. And Aces could get a move done into turn 1. Lawrence into the pits for the mediums. So we'll see where he comes out after all of this. But here comes Aces. Sumo into the pits as well. So Alex should be in next lap. But here comes Aces taking full advantage of all that battling. And the Haas driver is back up into P2. He was 2.5 seconds down on the Ferrari. All looked lost for that second place. But here he is up to P2 and he is flying at the moment. Lawrence 3.5 seconds back. It's 4 seconds back on P-Bent with a 3-second penalty as well. And I think this could have just about turned into a 2-horse race with Lawrence having that penalty. He will catch up on the medium tyres, but that 3-second penalty is going to prove very, very costly, I fear. Robsu's still driving around with damage, by the way. He's in P6 right now. Surely he's going to get it repaired when he pits, right? You would think. Prime Evil staying out this long on the mediums as well. Is he going to the softs to the end, I wonder? I wonder if that's his plan, and that's why he didn't use too many sets of softs in qualifying. But he's 1.8 down on the Aston Martin driver right now. And Tia a further 6 down on that, but he's already pitted. Oh, as we just ride on board with RJ to see him spin off into the wall. It's another VSC, and that could be a big opportunity for the likes of Alex, Robsu and Prime Evil to get 3 stops in here. Drogon, by the way, is up to P11 now. After his early pit stop after his mistake. So he's trying to recover, but it's a long way to go for him still. Alex G into the pits for the medium tyres, I would assume. Robsu in as well. Is he going to get his front wing repaired? Does he know there's damage? That's the question. Prime Evil also in. Let's have a look. Is he going to get a new front wing? Yes, he is. He does know. And he did very well to drive all that way with front wing damage and not lose too much time. I expect he lost a lot of accumulated time, but he's done very well there as RJ also comes in for a new front wing and a double stack for Aston Martin. But RJ is going to be absolutely gutted with that mistake. And it sent him all the way down to P14, unfortunately. Aces and P-Bent right together again. This green flag is going to come out pretty shortly. Lawrence is just about 4 seconds behind them. And he's got those medium tyres to the end, but he does have that 3-second penalty to contend with. And here we go, RJ, oh, insult to injury, gets a drive-through as well. And wouldn't be surprised to see an early retirement for the American, unfortunately. Maybe he'll keep it going. He knows there's still 2 points on offer as long as he finishes. But whether he'll be wanting to do that is another question, but you never know. Safety car could come out. We've had 2 VSCs. All it takes is one incident in slightly the wrong place, and we'll have a safety car and his race will be saved. But at the moment, that's not looking likely. Prime Evil has indeed gone on to the softs, so he's going to be very fast for the next few laps, and then will quickly tail off towards the end. So I still fancy Robsu to win this little battle as P-Bent and Aces swap for the umpteenth time today. P-Bent back into P2 as Aces fights him through. But Aces has had a fantastic Grand Prix so far today. He's driven very, very well, and he's I hope he gets the podium because he's going to very much deserve it at this stage. Sumo and Alex swapping in the two Mercedes as well. Sumo up to P7 as he chases after Exterek on 4 laps older hard tyres. So Sumo is going to have a big tyre advantage here as Mania comes in as well for another stop. Is that a front wing change for him? I'm not certain. No, he's gone back onto the mediums. Oh, he's already stopped though, so it could have been a front wing change. RJ in as well. Is that an early retirement for the American, or is it a just serving as drive-through, I wonder? Or maybe Mania. Oh, maybe they both had a drive-through. I think that's it actually. They both had a drive-through. Yeah, because my telemetry is not saying they stopped. So drive-throughs for both of them. And, well, that's just insult to injury when you're already in last place, isn't it, really? So it's a shame for them. But still fastest lap, very much on the hunt for that. Who has it at the moment? It is Maxim with a 31.2 set probably on the mediums early in the Grand Prix, so the fastest lap definitely very gettable here. And there we go, it's gone. Lawrence sets a new fastest lap, 30.7, as he chases after P-Bent and Aces, and he's already 1.5 seconds behind, and he's going to be fighting tooth and nail for a podium today, but he's going to find it very difficult with that track limits penalty to his name. Oh no, big mistake for Aces. He's somehow saved it, but he's into the gravel and gets back on the circuit. But he's got to be careful not to spin it again with very gravelly, dirty tyres. He just about gets it going again, but he's now 3.8 behind Lawrence, and suddenly, oh no, I've cursed him. I said he's going to get a deserved podium, and then he makes a mistake in Sector 1, he's into the gravel, and suddenly it looks like he's going to be P4 after all. You know, if we get a late safety car here, he's going to be right back in it. But as it stands, I think he's in for a lonely last 8.5 laps of this Grand Prix, unfortunately. Lawrence chasing after P-Bent for P2 in the meantime. Maxim leads by 9 seconds. He is far, far gone. Robsu getting past Prime Evil in the meantime. They're going wheel to wheel. Robsu into the grass. I don't know if he was pushed there or if he made a move that wasn't on. But either way, into the grass and gets back going again. But Prime Evil not looking as quick on those softs as I thought he would, and perhaps they're already starting to tail off because softs are rubbish on this game. They really are in the race. As here comes Robsu. Oh no, there's contact between the two, and that's clumsy from Robsu. That is just waited too long to make his move. That is very, very clumsy, I have to say. He could be facing a penalty for that one. Whether or not Primeval sustained damage, he didn't. But wow, that could have been very, very nasty. And down towards turn 1 they go. Primeval is not going to be happy about that, and rightfully so. It's a poor mistake from Robsu, that, as Primeval sends it down the inside. There's contact again. He's just about managed to hold on to it. Well, that's very well done. And Robsu slowing down through turn 3, and Primeval losing more time here. He's going to be very frustrated in that cockpit, I think. He's not going to be very happy with Robsu after this Grand Prix, I don't think. Exterek, meanwhile, getting past Sumo, who's had there's a bit of Mercedes come off there. I don't know which one. There's certainly front wing damage. Was it Alex, maybe? Has he got front wing damage? Let's see, does he have a front left end plate? No, he doesn't. It was Alex. It's a mistake from the Ukrainian. And now he's going to struggle to hold on to that P8. Drogon is going to be hunting him down on those hard tyres, as Primeval has gotten past Robsu now, but, well, he's not going to be happy about it, put it that way. As we've got yellow flags again, that's going to be Mania around now at Degner 2. It's his turn to make a mistake at that infamous corner. As Lawrence still chasing after P-Bent. He's now within a second. Hello to Tito in the chat. Good to see you here, man. As Lawrence now out of that 1 second range. Perhaps those mediums already starting to fail him, but Tyr getting passed by Exterek now for P5. Or was it? No, I think he was getting past Sumo for P6, actually. So Extrek under a huge amount of pressure from these medium tyre runners behind, but especially Sumo, who's got much younger tyres, but now he's been passed by Tyr, and Primeval and Robsu again going wheel to wheel, but this time Robsu losing out. But those two not going to be happy with each other, I don't think, after this race. I don't think Robsu's going to be too happy. I don't think Primeval's going to be too happy with a couple of things either. So I'm sure we'll see that in the stewards room after this one. But anyway, Sumo trying to chase after Tyr. He's going to desperately want that top 5 finish from this race, I think. And he looks to the inside of Spoon and sensibly decides against that particular manoeuvre. But he's going to go down towards 130R. He doesn't get the exit he would have wanted. Tyr's spending ERS as well. And Sumo's going to have to stick behind for now as they head towards 130R. Lawrence getting past P-Bent for P2 in the meantime. But we've got to ride on board with Sumo. Stay here in this midfield battle as Tyr looks to the inside of Extrek. Doesn't send it. But we've seen those two come together already this race, Extrek and Tyr. They haven't had a contact-free Grand Prix, put it that way, as Tyr down the inside for turn 1 with the DRS. That should be an easy move. Extrek has to concede, and he's down to P6, and now under pressure from Sumo, just behind once more, as Tyr up to P5. Robsu and Primeval fighting again. Robsu gets his way through. Is Primeval going to send it into turn 1 or 2? No, he's going to be sensible and stick behind, but he's going to want to keep this battle going. He goes wide though at turn 2. That will surely be a track limits penalty or warning, I would have thought. As Lawrence trying to gap P-Bent there for P2 as it stands. Here comes Sumo down the inside of Extrek, who makes a mistake at Degna 2, gets too much on the curb, but Sumo's got too much on the curb himself. He's into the grass. He's somehow avoided the wall, but Sumo all the way down to P9 behind Drogon. It's a very costly mistake for Sumo. Too much curb for the Mercedes driver, and he's back down to P9 now. There's no damage to the Mercedes, but certainly damage to his pride and dignity, and also damage to his chances of getting P5. Significant damage to that in particular. That he is going to, I would have thought, clear Drogon pretty quickly on fresher medium tyres. He'll have the DRS down to turn 1. Drogon's catching his teammate Alex as well, so Alex has got to try and hold on to that P7 here with that slight front wing damage he's got. But here comes Sumo now. He's using the ERS. He's got that DRS deployed. Front rear wing opens. Down the inside he goes. And Sumo back into P8. Oh no, it's a big mistake. And he's round again, Sumo. It's a huge contact between the two. Drogon keeps the place. I don't know if there's damage to either car. Not according to my telemetry, but there might well be, perhaps, as Drogon just about keeps it going. I don't know how they've both still facing in the right direction right now, but Sumo really struggling. He makes that overtake and then he loses it at turn 1, and those curbs really throwing him off. The patch yesterday made curbs a lot less forgiving than they used to be on this game. And well, I think Sumo is finding that out today as he chases back after Drogon. But on the plus side, he has increased the gap between Drogon and Alex with that little mistake. So Alex has got a better chance of holding on to that 7th place as Extrek fights tooth and nail with Tyr now for P5. Here they go down towards 130R. Extrek lifts off. Doesn't want to make a move there, lifts off again down to the chicane. He wants to wait for turn 1, but this is allowing Alex to close back up, and he's going to have DRS again as Sumo makes the move before the chicane, back up to P8, but is Drogon going to be able to get him back with the DRS? I think he's a bit too far behind, not a good enough exit, as Extrek does make that move into 5th place. P-Bent is still just behind Lawrence as well, so I think Lawrence is going to struggle to hold on to that 2nd place. Those mediums perhaps starting to lose their advantage compared to the hards. Tito says, first race I've watched on F124, notice you can attack the inside of Degna 1 and the outside of Degna 2. Well, the outside of Degna 2 is still sketchy. it's still pretty sketchy, I will say. You can just hit the curb the wrong way and go round again. We've seen it several times this race, even, and we saw it there with Tyr. He lost some speed going too far over that curb again on the outside. But yeah, it's still a little more forgiving than it was last year. For sure, but yeah, the inside curve of Degner 1, absolutely. I don't know how it is post-patch. I haven't driven on the game since yesterday's patch, but yeah, I would imagine that it's still more attackable than it was last year, I would imagine. Alex now 2.5 seconds. Struggling to keep up. He's got 16 lap old hard tyres. You can't blame him. He's had such pace today, raw pace, but just the tyres haven't given him what he wanted after that early mistake he made in this race. And he'll be thinking, well, I should really be in the top 5 today. And here I am looking like I'm destined to finish P9. But the improvement is clear. He was unlucky last week as well in Qatar. He should have been further up. But yeah, the improvements there. He's so much faster than he was on F1 23, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him bag his first ever APPF1 podium this season. In fact, I would back him to do exactly that. Here you go, the rest of the drivers though. Tyr still just behind Exterek. P-Bent still within DRS of Lawrence, and that's a big mistake from the defending champion, and he's back down to P3. P-Bent back into that second place on track now, and that track limits penalty for Lawrence, I think, is going to come back to haunt him here. He could have had a chance for P2. He's still going to get DRS here, and I think he'll get this move done before turn 1. Oh no, I've just noticed he's lifting and coasting. Hang on a second, everyone. Maybe there's some fuel issues for Lawrence, because that was a big lift and coast down into the final chicane there. He's going to get this move done around the outside, but let's keep on board. Oh, not a lift and coast there, but I'm going to keep an eye on Lawrence. I wonder if he's having fuel issues in that McLaren. But he's into P2 on track again, but again that track limits penalty will cost him. Ace is 9 seconds down on them now after that earlier mistake he made. He hasn't been able to get back into this race for the podium places. So it looks like he's destined for 4th place today, as Exterek keeps Tyr and Alex behind for another lap. Alex still fighting amongst these two, even with that front wing damage he's got. Primeval gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as he equips a set of softs to go for the fastest lap, which is currently held by still Lawrence. A 30.7 is the fastest lap. So we'll see if Lawrence can keep it before the end, or if Primeval can snatch it away on the final lap. He's just exiting the pits now. Mania doing the same thing in the Alpine as well, going for that fastest lap. As Alex, a bit of a snap there through the hairpin. That's cost him some time. When will EA drop the prices? I don't know, Tito. I don't know. Probably around Christmas, I would have thought. Maybe there'll be an autumn sale as well. I don't know. But regardless, I think they already had a sale on Steam. But we are cross-play now. But yeah, Lawrence again and P-Bent going wheel to wheel. P-Bent making that move look pretty easy. And we're on to the final lap as RJ now takes the fastest lap, a 30.733. It's not a lot in it between himself and Lawrence's lap. But RJ with that extra point as it stands, can he keep it? Or will Mania and or Primeval snatch it away, I wonder? As we head on to the final lap of what's been a thrilling Japanese Grand Prix. Exterek still holding on to P5. He's had a great debut here in Tier 2. This tier suits him a lot better than Tier 1, so I'm glad he made the decision to switch days. But he's going to come home for a very respectable P5 by the looks of it. Tyr and Alex just behind him. Sumo down in P8. He's going to be disappointed with how this race has gone. It could have been so much more, but still, he'll be happy with how much he's improved. There's a big snap. Gets too much curb at Degna 2 there. We've got yellow flags in Sector 3, as that looks like Krauser's gone round. I'm not sure how, but Maxim comes around the final corner to win the Japanese Grand Prix by an astonishing margin. Definitely a nerf incoming after this one, as P-Bent comes around the final chicane, and he comes up to the line as well. He comes P2. Lawrence comes home in third place. He did have fuel issues. He's run out of fuel across the line, so I called that correctly. Aces comes home. He'll be disappointed in the end with P4, but it's still a great performance from him. Exterek, Tier going for the move, perhaps into the final chicane. Breaks late, but not late enough. Exterek's going to keep that place, and yeah, through the final chicane, just not enough from Tier. He gave it everything there on that last lap, but Exterek takes 5th place. Tier in P6, Alex G in 7th. Sumo finishes 8th in the end, with Drogon in 9th after his early mistake. Still a decent recovery to go from 14th to 9th. Robsu in 10th place. Without a safety car as well, I should say, for Drogon. Primeval is going to come home in P11, but is he going to take the fastest lap? It still belongs to RJ Blair. It's a 30.7. Can Primeval snatch it away, I wonder? We're about to find out. He's going to be last over the line. Here he goes. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. It's going to be close. He got it. Primeval takes the fastest lap away on the final time of asking. And he comes home in 11th place, but he's going to have some words for Robsu, I think, after this one. Wow, what a race. What a race in Tier 2. Great to see. Some great action up and down the grid. I think I caught most, if not all of it, apart from a few overtakes at the front, but they were mostly just DRS passes. I caught all the main action in the midfield. But there we have it. A great race in Japan for Tier 2. And it is the Italian Maxim who takes first place in Japan by 10.5 seconds, and yeah, he's definitely going to get a nerf after this one. P-Bent comes home in P2. I think more research needed before we think about a nerf for him. Lawrence in 3rd place with that track limits penalty. Aces comes home in 4th with Exterek in P5. Tier, Alex, Sumo, Drogon and Robsu the rest of the top 10. Primeval at the fastest lap in the end in 11th place. Then Krauser, Mania and RJ making up the rest of the grid. No DNFs, I want to say. Exterex said, I think there will be a DNF today. Not one. Great stuff, Tier 2. Well done, guys. But stick around. We're going to have interviews with the top. Stick around for that. That will be coming very shortly. Let me just join the party. Alright, so we wait for the top 3 to join us. Top 3, P-Ben and Lawrence. Sumo in the chat, unhappy with that one, as I thought he might be, but it's still a very good race, I would say, from you, Sumo. Just a couple of mistakes that cost you a few positions, but not bad at all. We've got Lawrence in the party. We're just waiting for Maxim and P-Bent. P-Ben even in this this group, I wonder? I think so. Yeah, he is. Okay. Maxim cannot do interviews, unfortunately. Quick summary of your race that I can read out on stream. Alex saying that we're going to riot against me, apparently, which is concerning. But anyway, we'll see if P-Vent can join, but if not, we'll just go ahead with Lawrence. I don't think either of them are going to join us. P-Ben is ashamed and doesn't speak English. Oh, I think he means to say he's embarrassed. Alright, well in that case we'll just go ahead with Lawrence. Well, back on the podium again, Lawrence, after just missing out last week. So it must feel nice, but also you must be cursing yourself for that track limits penalty.
Yeah, track limits once again hit me on the backside. Yeah, just got a bit too greedy with the track. I think it was up to spoon a couple of times.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it was a deserved penalty in fairness. But yeah, I was quite surprised. I managed to get past. Bent quite comfortably on the mediums. But once I got ahead, the mediums just died. And it was just
yeah.
I wasn't going to pull away, unfortunately.
Yeah, I could tell those mediums were a struggle towards the end of the stint, in both stints really, for the people that use them. But when Aces made that mistake, did you think he would drop back quite so far, or did you think that you'd still have a battle on your hands? Because he was driving fantastically until then, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was doing really well. I was surprised to see him drop off, but I don't know if he had. I know he had an issue with his wheel and pedals before the race. I don't know if that was related to it or whether he was just, just had a close call and just decided to bring the car home. Yeah, it was a shame. I don't like taking positions like that. I'd rather have a good battle, and I have had good battles with Aces before. So yeah, I just felt a bit I was denied of a battle there. But at the same time, if that wouldn't have happened, I could have ended up P4. So.
Oh, that's very fair enough. And I have one more question for you. It's from Sumo in the chat. He's saying that you were unsportsmanlike in quali, and is asking me to ask you about that. So, what's that all about?
I just came along, pulled up alongside Sumo, and he decided to wheel bang me and gave himself a penalty. I have no idea why he even bothered turning towards me. Yeah, it was unfortunate. I looked when I got back in the garage. I had a sneaky feeling he was going to get a penalty for that. Yeah, it's just a bit of banter, which unfortunately just went wrong. I never meant for him to get a penalty, and if I could have.
Sounds like a Vettel in Baku 2018 sort of situation.
Yeah, it was exactly like that. I was just there, just getting in his head, but unfortunately he just decided to give me a little love tap, and then I got out of there.
Sumo says he was letting you through, so...
Yeah, he did let me through, but Yeah, I was just playing games. I wasn't expecting a wheel tap from him. I was just doing it for a bit of content on his stream.
So what you're saying is he should be thanking you, really?
Well, no, it's unfortunate that he doesn't. I do feel bad. He had quite a decent qualifying as well. With
Yeah.
I do feel bad that he had pretty good pace from what I see, especially on the hards. When I noticed at the end of my stint, he was doing the same times as me. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just unfortunate for him. But
these things happen among friends, you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Sumo. I hope he still loves me.
Alex is calling me biased. I'm just being a journalist, Alex. I'm creating headlines. Headline tomorrow is going to be Lawrence thinks Sumo should thank him for receiving 5-place grid penalty.
I like that headline very much. We're well of that. He knows who's the boss now.
Okay, well, I'll just read out some summaries from our P1 and P2 finishers who can't join us for the interviews. So Maxim says qualifying was not so easy, a really cold track, and he had difficulty with the last attempt. As we saw, he didn't improve. The race fortunately went well. First stint with the mediums was strange. He felt like the tyres had very high degradation, as Lawrence just said as well. The VSC came out at the right time. He was very lucky with that, not gonna lie. Well, he still won by 11 seconds, so I think he would have been fine. P-Bent in P2 says it was a nice race. With the new update, the game changed a bit, and there was probably that little bit of difficulty we all had. There was no safety car, so that's nice. And for the rest, I'm happy with the P2. So a good debut for P-Bent. Welcome to Tier 2 if you're watching. Yes, indeed, a great podium, a great race all round. The midfield battles were fantastic today. Driver of the day, Tuffy. Let's see. There were a lot of really good drives today. If Aces hadn't made that mistake, it would have been him, but I can't give it to him with that mistake. Lawrence drove well. P-Bent did well on his debut. I think I'm going to give it to.
It's got to be P-Bent.
It's between P-Bent and Extract, because I think Extract had some really, really good battles. P-Bent was fast, but he didn't have to do much battling, whereas Extract was battling people all race long. So I think I'm going to give it to him on his Tier 2 debut. So well done to Extract on that. But that's it from me. That's it from me, and that's it from Lawrence as well.
Yeah, get off my stream.
But I should end the stream right now before Alex and Sumo come to my house with a gun. So thank you all ever so much for watching. I've been Ghost, this has been Tier 2. We'll be back next week for the 3rd Grand Prix of the season in Singapore. So see you then, it's going to be a good one. Goodbye.